What if one of the world's most insane conspiracy theories was partially real? During the Cold War, military officials actually discussed terrifying psychological operations capable of simulating alien contact, mass panic, and even a fake extraterrestrial threat. And decades later, leaked documents, whistleblowers, and classified experiments would make people wonder, did governments ever consider staging an alien invasion to control humanity? In 1938, millions of Americans panicked after hearing a radio broadcast describing a Martian invasion. People flooded highways, police stations were overwhelmed. Some reportedly armed themselves. But here's the disturbing part. That was only a fictional radio drama. Officials immediately realized something terrifying. If people could panic over a fake alien story on the radio, what could happen if governments used television, military technology, or psychological warfare? For decades, rumors spread that powerful agencies explored exactly that idea. Not necessarily little green men, but a manufactured extraterrestrial threat designed to manipulate society. And strangely enough, real documents show governments did investigate mass psychological operations involving fake supernatural events, holograms, propaganda, and fear manipulation. Tonight, we're diving into the disturbing history behind the alleged plan to fake an alien invasion. And the deeper you go, the less impossible it starts to sound. The modern fear of alien invasion truly exploded during the Cold War. The United States and Soviet Union were locked in a psychological battle unlike anything in human history. Both sides wanted total control over information. Governments discovered something crucial. Fear changes behavior faster than truth. Military strategists studied propaganda obsessively. How do you manipulate populations? How do you unite people against a common enemy? How do you maintain control during chaos? Then came UFO hysteria. After the famous 1947 Roswell incident, reports of mysterious flying objects spread everywhere. Pilots described impossible maneuvers. Civilians reported glowing crafts. Newspapers amplified every sighting. Suddenly, extraterrestrials became part of global culture. To intelligence agencies, this wasn't just entertainment, it was an opportunity. Because if people already believed unknown beings might exist, that belief could potentially be weaponized. One of the most famous theories emerged decades later. A man named Serge Monast claimed world governments were secretly preparing something called Project Blue Beam. According to the theory, authorities would simulate divine events and alien invasions using advanced holograms, satellites, electromagnetic manipulation, and psychological conditioning. The alleged goal? Create global panic. Then introduce a centralized world government as humanity's savior. Now, there's no verified evidence Project Blue Beam actually existed. But here's why the theory became terrifyingly popular. Some of the underlying technologies were real. Military research into holographic projections existed. Psychological warfare programs existed. Mass surveillance existed. Propaganda operations absolutely existed. And history showed governments were willing to deceive their own populations when they believed it served national interests. That's where conspiracy theories stopped feeling completely ridiculous to many people. Because while Blue Beam itself remains unproven, the foundation beneath it was built from real operations. Then people discovered something genuinely shocking. In 1962, US military officials proposed Operation Northwoods. This was not conspiracy theory, these were authentic government documents. The proposal suggested staging violent incidents and blaming them on Cuba to justify military intervention. The plans included fake attacks, manufactured terrorism, and even potentially sacrificing civilians for political objectives. The operation was ultimately rejected by President Kennedy. But the revelation changed everything. Because it proved something undeniable, high-level officials had seriously discussed elaborate deception campaigns against the public. And once people learned that, it became easier to believe other extreme scenarios might also be possible, including fake extraterrestrial threats. There's an old political concept repeated throughout history. Nothing unites divided populations faster than a shared enemy. During the Cold War, that enemy was communism. After major terrorist attacks, it became terrorism. But some theorists believed governments feared losing control once humanity no longer had a unifying threat. Then came a chilling statement, often associated with political strategist Wernher von Braun. According to claims repeated by his former associate Carol Rosin, von Braun allegedly warned that governments would continuously create new enemies to justify militarization. First communists, then terrorists, then rogue nations, and finally, extraterrestrials. Critics argue the story lacks sufficient verification, but the idea spread rapidly because it felt psychologically believable. An alien threat would instantly transcend borders, politics, religion, and nationality. Humanity versus them, the ultimate external enemy. This is where things get unsettling. Could modern governments realistically simulate an alien invasion? Not perfectly, but partially. Possibly. Military technology today is far beyond what most civilians realize. Advanced drones can move in coordinated formations. Experimental aircraft often remain classified for decades. Deepfake technology can fabricate realistic footage. Artificial intelligence can generate convincing voices and broadcasts. Even decades ago, intelligence agencies successfully manipulated media narratives around the world. Now imagine combining coordinated media coverage, artificial satellite disruptions, cyber attacks, fabricated leaked footage, drone swarms, holographic experiments, social media amplification, AI-generated eyewitness videos. Within hours, billions could become convinced something extraordinary was happening, especially in a world already saturated with conspiracy theories and distrust. The real danger may not be fake aliens themselves, but how vulnerable modern society is to engineered panic. Ironically, governments later began publicly acknowledging unexplained aerial phenomena. In 2017, leaked Pentagon footage showed strange objects performing movements pilots struggled to explain. Officials admitted some sightings remained unidentified. Congress held hearings. Military personnel described encounters that sounded impossible. This reignited public fascination with UFOs worldwide. For conspiracy theorists, this felt like confirmation. Some believed governments were preparing populations psychologically for something larger. Others argued the simpler explanation made more sense: advanced foreign technology, sensor errors, or misunderstood phenomena. But the uncertainty itself fueled paranoia, because once governments admit they don't know what something is, people start imagining everything. The fake alien invasion theory survives for one reason: distrust. Over decades, governments around the world have been caught lying repeatedly. Secret surveillance programs, illegal experiments, propaganda campaigns, psychological operations, false public narratives. When institutions lose credibility, conspiracy theories thrive, and the human brain naturally searches for hidden patterns during uncertainty, especially when technology becomes indistinguishable from magic. 100 years ago, holograms, AI voices, and satellite manipulation would seem supernatural. Today, they're real, which creates an uncomfortable question. If technology can manufacture reality itself, how would ordinary people know when they're being manipulated? Maybe the scariest part of this story has nothing to do with aliens. It's the realization that humanity may already live inside constant psychological influence. Algorithms shape beliefs, media shapes emotions. Governments shape narratives, corporations shape attention. Modern information warfare is no longer science fiction. Every day, invisible systems compete for human perception, not with lasers or spaceships, but with fear, outrage, distraction, and confusion. A fake alien invasion might never happen. It may not even be necessary, because in many ways, the infrastructure for mass behavioral manipulation already exists. So, did governments ever truly plan to fake an alien invasion? There's no verified evidence proving a secret extraterrestrial hoax operation exists. But history reveals something equally disturbing. Powerful institutions absolutely studied deception, propaganda, fear manipulation, and psychological control on massive scales. And once people realized that, the line between paranoia and possibility became dangerously blurred. Maybe the real lesson isn't whether aliens are fake. Maybe it's understanding how easily humans can be convinced of almost anything under the right conditions, especially when fear enters the equation. And if a real unidentified object appeared in the sky tomorrow, would humanity believe it? Or would we assume someone wanted us to?